Friday. Welcome back to Yarn Talks with Lizzy Knits. My name is Erin Gates with Lizzy Knits and Three Birds Yarn Studio, and this is episode, I don't know, 17, 16 maybe of Yarn Talks. I don't know, one of those. I think I already did 15. So, all right. I'll look it up when I go upload this video. So yeah, I hope you guys are all having a good Friday. What time is it? 10 o'clock. I've kind of had a busy morning. I got everything laid out, but I woke up this morning and, well, today's my husband's 40th birthday. So I planned on making a rum cake this morning, and I did. I was making, that's his favorite. So I was making the batter this morning while the kids are having breakfast. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make the batter before going to the bus stop, then I can put the cake in the oven when we come back and get the podcast stuff ready and juggle all this stuff. But it worked. I'm really excited. The bundt cake is resting and I put the glaze on already. And like I had a little mishap this morning. So like if you guys have smaller kids or we're getting out the door on school mornings, it's like absolute chaos. So I'm like, I'll make the batter really quick. I'm like, Owen, brush your teeth. Owen. Like I gotta tell him like 5 times. Like, so it's, I was pouring in like the rum and like it splashed out of the measuring cup and it got all over my shirt. I'm like, okay, at least I don't drive my kids to school because like I smell like alcohol. So I just walked down on the bus stop. I'm like, I don't need to talk to anybody, and we're the only family at our stop. Like, it'd be so embarrassing if I had to like take them to school. I'd be like, Mrs. Gates, have you been drinking? Like, no, I just smell like rum. It's fine. Anyways, I thought it was funny, but got a fresh shirt on. It's all good. And I don't know, the last couple days too. So just about the kids. We live in like northern Illinois, like I'm just north of Chicago. It was like 100 degrees Wednesday and Thursday. So they advised us not to put the kids on the bus. So I was like, me and like every other family like that goes to the school did a parent pickup and drop off. And like, it took me over an hour after school yesterday to get the kids. I was on the main road for like 45 minutes waiting in line before I even like made it into the parking lot. Like, and it's 100 degrees out and it was just like insanity and madness. And I'm so glad that today cooled off. Yeah, it's kind of gloomy today, but like, at least it's like, I don't know, 70 degrees, but yesterday was rough and it's just so hot. It's not usually like that. So hopefully you guys have not experienced like the extreme heat. Yeah, it stinks, but at least I didn't have to ride the bus because there's no air conditioning. So they sent out like a school-wide thing. Like luckily, I'm like, I still work from home for now. So like, yes, I can be available to get them, but I don't know. That's it. It's been kind of a crazy week, but it's Friday. Yay. And yeah, well, I'm glad I got the cake done and I'm going to try to bike in a little bit. And I don't know, it might rain. We'll see. I put my biking gear on. So hopefully I can get out and do like a few miles. I'm trying to like have a healthy fall because summer was not healthy. Like kids are home. I did not exercise like I wanted to. And it's just hot and like we were busy doing stuff. So now everyone's back at school and my husband's at school. And, like I'm trying to work out before the weather gets yucky and we'll see. All right. That's my life for the week in a nutshell. And now it doesn't smell like alcohol in my house. It smells like delicious vanilla cake. And major thing too, like I'm a big fan of making bundt cakes. I love making bunts. They're so easy. But I always get nervous flipping them. Like, so this morning it came out perfectly. It didn't stick to the pan. The last couple of bundt cakes I've made had like chunks that were still stuck to the pan. And like, flipping the bundt cake stresses me out so bad. But like, I mean, I adequately greased the pan and everything went smoothly. So I think it's gonna be a good day. You know, it's the little things. Start off my day with a cake not sticking to the pan. Like, it's gonna be a good day. I could feel it. All right, let's talk yarn. I got 3 topics right now, mainly. And if you've been watching, I think I featured this in my last 2 episodes. The giant shawl. Let's jump right in. The giant shawl. I made another one. I told you I was gonna make another one. I did it. I went on like a knitting marathon because I'm like, I'm gonna finish this thing. My hands were like hurting because I just wanted it to get done. Like, it's not like a leisurely project. Like, this needs to get done and out of my headspace and like wrapped up. Okay, here's the old one. Remember I showed you this, I stood up, I don't like it at all. It's a monster. It's also, and then once I realized I was having issues with the sizing, like, you know what? I actually don't like the colors that much. You know, if I have the option to redo it, I'm like, well, let's change some things. So here's the first one. You can't even see all of it in the shot. I'm knitting this thing, I'm like, geez, this is taking a while. And then I stopped to do measurements, like, oh yeah, it's definitely taking a while because it's huge. But I just made myself finish it and just then, resize it and go from there. And I took measurements of gauge, I redid gauge, because apparently I did something wrong the first time I did swatching before designing, because it came out different. But I talked about this in the last episode. All right, here's the old one. We got yellow as the main color. See, and a lot of stripes. It's all stripes. So when I went to redo it, I thought it was too much stripes. It would be fine if I was sticking with that design and everything went smoothly. Okay, that's how it turned out. So now that I get an opportunity to do it again, I was looking through colors. So I have the shop. I was thinking greens and blues. The yellow, I love that Frank Ochre color, but now seeing it in its entirety, I'm like, it's a bit much, and I don't really wear a lot of yellow. I'm like, I want to make something that I'm gonna wear. So I found this color, and I didn't want to go, it crossed my mind, what if I did variegated? I don't normally pick a lot of variegated colors because I also like to knit a lot of texture. So just my preference. I love variegated yarn, but a lot of times I don't know what to do with it. Or if my texture is too complex, don't pick a variegated. It just depends on your project, your preference, whatever. But I generally don't. But this one stuck out to me. This is Hojas, and the whole shawl is Malabrigo Rios. And so, plug for the shop. I have a ton in stock, 3birdsyarnstudio.com. It's variegated, but it's not intense. So it's lime green, blue, forest green. All right, I love it. I love it. That's my main color. So I'll show you the new one. Here we go. Instead, those yellow sections where I had stripes with the garter stitch and the garter ridges, instead I made it all solid garter stitch, so no purling in these parts, these sections, the main section, whatever I'm trying to say. Here it is. And I sized it down. It's the same pattern, but each repeat section, I didn't do as many repeats. So it actually wasn't that intense to change. So here we go. Hojas is these large solid sections here. Here's the shawl in its entirety, and I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. Bring it back in. All right, so moving on with picking the other colors. This pattern, the new one, only has 4, and I think I want to say I used 6 for the other one. I simplified it. Also, it's less colors you have to buy, but 2 of the colors you have to do multiple skeins of. But the contrasting colors, there's only 2, and I picked a blue and a green, and they're not variegated, and you only need 1 skein of each of those because sections are small. So that would be these sections that have the white and then a background color. So the white, that's the same throughout. I use fog. It's basically a grayish white, and then I alternated. So that's in each one of the stripe sections, the same white, but then, so there's 4 contrasting color sections. I did a blue, green, blue, green. Not too bad. So I love that like I simplified the color options. And here's the best part. Once I decided to do a variegated yarn, which I didn't think I would do, and I'm so glad I did, then the contrasting colors, I picked tones that are pulled from this yarn. I thought it was a cool idea. Like use the variegated color, like whatever variegated yarn you choose, and then, you know, this one's blue, green, a little bit of yellow, whatever, then pull some colors for your contrasting section. So I did one solid blue, and then I did like this ivy color, which is some of these tones. And I apologize, the skin is showing up really dark in the video, but yeah, it looks, it's actually more colorful, like it's looking dark. Anyways, I pulled tones that kind of came from here. So I thought it was a nice way to show, and I wrote this in the little excerpt or summary of the pattern. Like, this pattern is all about showcasing variegated yarn. I love it. I love it. I think it worked out really good. So that's this shawl. This is final update. It's done. It's blocked. I actually just took it off the blocking mats this morning. Sorry, I have allergies and like really itchy. Yeah, it's actually slightly damp still, so I'm gonna, after this video, I'll go lay it down again. But yeah, it's a kite shawl. The spine shifts, and then you end up with a straight edge corner, and then bind off the long side when you're done. All right, that's the shawl. I like it. The sizing is a lot better. I like it. Let's see. Whoosh. I have style this better. And I'm gonna take some pictures this weekend. I take it off if it's hot in here. Too hot. This is for fall. It's not fall yet. But I'm gonna try to get some photos this weekend, and then get some edits on it, and then hopefully less than 2 weeks, put a testing call out. So side note, if you're watching this and you've really like been following the shawl progress, if you want to be a tester, please send me a message or find me on Instagram and DM me. Like, I'd love to get some testers for this. And even if like I could do a private tested call, you guys messaging me, that'd be awesome. Then I don't have to do like a big Instagram thing, because that's like, I like the public testing calls on Instagram, but then like it's just time consuming making all these Instagram posts. So like, if you want to, shoot me a message if you're interested in testing and we can chat. Yeah, no problem. And really, if you see any projects that I'm previewing in these episodes, like, you can always shoot me a message like, Erin, I like that, please can let me test. Like, sure. I'd love, like, I always like the help. So just a side note. All right, so that's called the Happy Days shawl, and I couldn't be happier that it's done. Honestly, binding that off and laying it in, like soaking it in my sink, like, it was a good feeling. Sometimes you finish a project that just has given you like such a hard time, and like it's so satisfying to get to finish. This was one. I really enjoy, or I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I'm also proud of myself for not quitting. Like, you guys, if you remember from the previous ones, I was really mad, like really mad and discouraged. And I'm like, I am throwing this in the garbage. I don't even want to look at it. I can't believe I continued to knit it, for one. Like, I should have just stopped, but I wanted to see it in its entirety. But in the end, I'm like, I wasted so much time, like mostly like an entire sitting watching spring softball. Like, I was working on this shawl, which I knit while the kids play sports. So I don't know. I'm fine. I'm happy that I stuck with it, because a design like that, it had so much potential, and it was like, I'm almost there. Like, don't scrap the whole project. It's not worth it, because there's decent work here. And like, what, I'm gonna then
design a brand new shawl and just start from scratch again. Be like, no, I owe it to like see this one through. And I did, yay. So that's done. Woohoo. I will have more info about that, but I thought it was really cool with the variegated yarn. It was awesome. So yay. That's it on the shawl. But here's these colors all together. Maybe without the, yeah, this is the color palette for, and I won't put kits together for this one for the shop just because there's too many skeins. Like, I mean, it's a lot of yardage. So, and then I also wrote in the pattern, like you can mix and match for this shawl too. Like if you have like leftover yarn at your house or skeins that you want to like, you can add more colors. Like you don't have to follow my template completely. Like for each one of those solid color sections, you can use a different color every time. Or if you want to like create a fade of like yarn you have, or like, you know, mix and match, it's very customizable. So hopefully that'll be helpful, you know, helpful notes in the pattern. Okay. All right, next. Sorry, I have a bunch of stuff just sitting right here. All right, I have a new scarf pattern coming out on Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday. This Wednesday, because it's due Wednesday. Okay, tester is out for testing right now. And honestly, and I apologize, I don't remember if I showed you this one. It's called the Canyon scarf. Canyon. It's cable-y. It's bulky weight. And it's pretty basic. There's 4 columns of cable twist, and these are 3/3. Yeah, it's a 6-stitch combo. And these two they're like the 2 outer ones, they're facing towards the center. I love this one. It was a really quick knit. I did a little bit of garter stitch borders, just there, garter stitch with a slip stitch edge, just to give it a little nice finishing lines, which I love. Yeah, and that's it. And then like some ribbing on the bottom. Ribbing, ooh. Okay. Yeah, and I think like this is just a really good plain. Oh, it's too hot. And just showing you a couple ways, and I just really enjoy this one. It's super bulky yarn. And actually, it's funny, I think it could work for like men or women. Like I had my husband try this one on, like I might give it to him. It's like a guy color. He won't wear anything that has any like sort of tint or anything. He likes very plain things, but I like the texture is simple and just it goes great with like a very neutral plain color. So the yarn, I think it takes 4 skeins of Hue and Me. This is Lion Brand. Can you see? Lion Brand Hue and Me. It's an awesome bulky weight yarn. It's like very squishy and bouncy, and it's plied. I want to say it's like 4 ply. What does it say here? Looks like 4. It doesn't say. But it's a wool and acrylic blend. It's super easy and it's just so fun to work with. And I don't know if you're familiar with Lion Brand Hue and Me. It's Alexi from 2 of Wands. This is her collaboration, and she actually just released a new color palette, but the original colors, there's a ton more, but like they're very earthy tones. And I went to our Maker Life Live in Denver a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. I think, did I tell you about this? Where like Lion Brand was there, and I went with my friend Courtney Flynn Knit. We had a great time. It was awesome. Thank you, Jewel, for putting the whole thing together. But our Maker Life Live, Lion Brand was there. Alexi was one of the speakers too. She was showing like her new color palette. It was super awesome, and these colors are great. But Lion Brand was there, and we got, you guys, the swag, like, thank you everyone who contributed, and like knit picks, they gave us lots of things. I won like this wooden crochet hook set, like it's super fun. Knit picks was there, a bunch of other like companies, and but we got like so much yarn to take home. Courtney and I are like, we were shoving like yarn like in our carry-on bags and like our purse. Like, you guys, it was awesome getting all this stuff, but we had to fly. Like, we can't take all this home. So they gave us a bunch of skeins of Hue and Me, and I designed this on the airplane on the way home, because I had needles with me. So on the way out there, I brought my a sweater I was working on, and then I ended up finishing the whole body of it that weekend. And then I didn't bring small circumference needles to finish up the sleeves. So I'm like, oh, I don't have a project. But I brought my whole needle case with all the sizes. So I cast this on the plane, and I wrote the scarf on the plane, and I came home and I finished it within the week. So like, this was like an unexpected design of mine, but it was a super fun one, and I just kind of went with it. And it was one of those designs where like, I didn't even have to rip it out. Like, I had an idea in mind. I did it one time, and I didn't have to redo it or like tweak it or something. Like, that never happens, by the way. Case in point, the shawl that I redid how many times, but this one I was really excited about. Like, it basically like wrote itself. Also, it's very simple. It's the same amount. It's the same pattern set. It's a scarf. You just keep doing the same set. So that's the story on the Canyon scarf. But this one will get released on, I said Wednesday. I'm trying to keep my schedule straight. And okay, Wednesday. I'm excited. I'm going to a concert Wednesday night too. So I'll have to do this in the morning. And then I'll publish a pattern, and then I have to go downtown. My sister and I are going to see the Pixies, which I'm so excited. They're like one of my favorite bands, and I've never seen them live. So they're playing in Chicago, and Modest Mouse is opening for them. So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm excited. So, all right, plan for Wednesday: publish scarf, go see the Pixies. Wednesday's gonna be a good day. All right, so that's the Canyon scarf. Yeah, and you know what? If you follow me on Instagram, like, I'll post maybe Tuesday I'll probably do like a preview thing. I'll put it in my newsletter for the shop. Side note, threebirdsYarnstudio.com. I do a weekly newsletter I feature what's my current favorite thing in the shop, or like if I publish a new pattern, I'll put it in the newsletter. If I get new product in, I always put it in the newsletter. So if you want to stay up to date on like the yarn that I'm currently loving or new product that we get in, sign up to the newsletter. threebirdsYarnstudio.com. I'll stop plugging the shop. All right, final thing. And where are we at? 23 minutes. Not bad. All right, I was telling myself, I'm like, I got a busy day today. I'm like, let's make this podcast quick. I got 3 things to show you, like, make it quick, and then hopefully you can go out. So it's 10:30. Oh my gosh, I've had a productive morning. Not all mornings are like this, like at all. But I want to bike, then get ready. I have to do a few things on the website, and then get ready. We're going out for my husband's birthday. So, all right, final thing. And again, I started working on a new hat, and this one half my patterns, like, I put a lot of thought into it before actually like casting on, like I got an idea in mind, and then I kind of stirred over, I'll sketch, and then I end up changing it completely, whatever. But sometimes I just like to start playing around with texture, or like hats are so easy to knit or to design, because like I've done a lot of them like over the years, so kind of like on autopilot. Like, I know what needs to happen. I know how to do decreases, the same pattern. Like, it's not that bad. So I started playing with texture. It's a new beanie. Here we go. And I'll make it. This is my tester. This is a crazy color, crazy in like the best way possible. Jacinto Rasta. It's so bold. And side note, I've had people asking me like, oh, what do you do with this? This is a good Halloween color. I've had people in the shop do this with a black pom-pom, and like, it's cool for Halloween. I like it. Anyways, this pattern does not have a name. this, see if you can see, it's like, it's not cabled. I wanted to do a pattern that isn't difficult. Like, you know, like you don't need cable knitting. You don't need, I just want like a simple pattern. So instead I did, these are right leaning, there's twisted stitches. The whole thing's twisted stitches. So it goes quicker than cable knitting. So it's like 3, and then twisted stitches are every other row. So it gets this nice little slant. And my goal was to have this slant line up with the next one in the column, if you can see what I mean here. Like the lines are kind of all going, it looks like it can, even though there's like a purl ridge in the middle here, but it looks kind of like it's all in a straight line. So if, I don't know, that was my thought with this, but I just started playing around with this one day, and I did have to tweak it a few times. And like, just like the number of repeats, and cast on was about the same, but it's in increments of 5. So that's not too bad. So you can tweak it if you, it's easily tweaked. It's like, 'cause that's a small pattern set. But the other thing is like, how many brim rounds do I want to do? It turns out that my first version of this, the brim was like really long. Like, oh, it looks weird. Like, I don't want a brim that's too short. I don't want it too long either. So like, you kind of have to find that sweet spot, and then how many repeats of the pattern. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. And another challenge sometimes, because each pattern set is 5 across, it's an odd number. So for the brim, I can't just do knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, like, because it wouldn't be right. So this one, and I actually did the same as my big waves beanie, because that was a set of 5. It's knit 2, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. So they're kind of, it's not like a completely even 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I had to improvise and also make it look like it blended into the pattern. So this column here of this knit stitch is a single one, and it looks like it just goes into that first twist. So these are the things I think about or have to redo, and just, you know, tweak it ever so slightly. But yeah, it's fun. And when you're doing right twisted stitches, and I know in one of my previous episodes I showed you, actually I think I showed you the left twist, but the inverse of it is the right twist. It's basically in place of doing like a 1/1 cable cross, because like it's the same concept, but it's like, and you can only do this, like you can't do the twisted stitches over like anything besides a 2-stitch combo. You can't, that'd be really cool if we could do a twisted 3/3, but it doesn't really work like that. But this is like a little shortcut, because otherwise those would have been the 1/1 cable cross. But like, they're so small, like you don't need to get your cable needle out, and like the twisted stitches are the way to go, just for 1/1s. So yeah, and also, side note, like I have full tutorials on this channel for the left twist and the right twist, if you want to watch me explain it. And, you know, and I'll write, I haven't typed this pattern up, but like I have my notes, but, I'll put a link to the twist tutorial. I try to help you guys out, like whenever I can. If I have a pre-recorded video, I can, you know, here, put links on the pattern. So yeah. Okay, so I don't have a name for this, but I will make then other versions of this. So here's super bulky. This is Rasta, and a perfectly matched gauge to Rasta is Ba Yarn Mammoth, if you guys are familiar. I love Ba Yarn. Actually, yesterday I did a big Ba Yarn order. It should be coming next week or so for the shop with like a ton of new colors, and I'm really excited. But Ba Yarn is another like favorite of mine that I love working with, and they're such a wonderful company. So that will be, so I can suggest Rasta and Mammoth for those. I tried making this hat in We Are Knitters, the wool, and I was gonna try Crazy Sexy Wool too from Wool and the Gang, but those are like more dense. So it's almost like if I tried, the hat was bigger than this one. So it's like, and then it was like too big on my head. And you have to, those yarns are so fabulous, but they're almost like a different type of yarn. So like I'm sticking with the Mammoth and the Rasta for this one. And then I was saying in the future, like I need to, if I want to use those yarns, make a pattern specifically for the other two, the wool and Crazy Sexy Wool. Like then maybe I'll just write a separate pattern. But it's hard to substitute those sometimes because the texture of the stitch, it's just a different feel to the fabric when one is more dense than the other. Even though they're all super bulky weight yarns, it's just the composition is slightly different. So that's sometimes with writing patterns, it can be challenging because I love to offer yarn suggestions when I can. But like, yeah, you just got to make sure though that it actually works, that when you make that one, it will be the same as your original like one that you're showcasing. So gotta trial and error basically. Okay, next step to this hat, which the yet to be named. I made one in bulky weight too. So I'm going to write this pattern for more than one weight. And I know you guys love that. And I usually don't. I did do a busy beanie years ago where I did it for 4 weights. That one's published up on my page. But it's kind of challenging, but like the texture was so simple and it's only a 5-stitch repeat and it's not that, I think it's 7 rounds. But like if you can make a pattern work in super bulky, that's not a complicated stitch repeat, like I said, you can make it work in a lesser weight yarn because then you're just using more repeats of it. It's very hard though. If you're gonna make a pattern for multiple weights, write it in super bulky first. Don't write it in worsted and then try to make a bulky and then a super bulky. It won't always translate when you're working up in yarn weights. Start with the thickest yarn because that's the most challenging to write because you only can do so much with that. You only get so many stitches to work with. And then you can work down if that makes sense. So that's what I did. Here's the bulky weight. Bulky. And I gotta say, I like this one better. It's the same pattern, it's the same stitch, it's the same texture, but like, I kind of like how it looks here. So this is Malabrigo Chunky in Damask Rose. And I'm going to make a couple more of these and try to find a few more comparable yarns to suggest. So here is bulky weight. I actually finished this morning while the cake was in the oven. I'm having a productive day. I'm so proud of myself because some days I feel like I just like lazy ass today. But like some days are better than others. Today's good. So here is it in bulky weight. And it's a very actually it's probably easier to see. This is kind of dark, so sorry. I'm gonna make another one and pick up a lighter color so you can see the stitches. So this is, I love this. I really like, I tweaked this a little bit. I actually it took a few tries. But I really like doesn't look like a full bubbly cable, kind of like this scarf. This is these are like a puppet. Hello. These are bubbly chunky cables, which I love. But I do kind of love how subtle this is. And it's not cable knitting. So these are twisted stitches that are kind of carried over. So it's kind of like a slow slant and it's very it's pretty smooth. It's not textured, low profile. Is that the word I'm looking for? Low profile. There you go. I really like it. And here's my daisy pom. Here, I'll show you. Guys, I have a ton of pom-poms in the shop because we've been making them like crazy. So if you're looking for pom-poms, I think I have 45 color options. So check it out on the Three Birds shop. They're all handmade. But this one's called Daisy because it looks like my little dog. It's the same color as their dog. Little Daisy. I'd show you Daisy, but she's sleeping. There we go. And then, oh, I can show you again. Here's the brim. You see what I mean about I had to do 2 and 1 for the knits, and then I did a purl in between. So it wasn't straight up knit purl rimming. Kind of had to get a little creative because it was a 5 stitch. If it was an even number of stitches for the pattern set, I would have just done the knit 1 purl 1, but yeah, kind of had to fluctuate a little bit. But the single one here is the one that flows into the twist. So like, I think it like blended nicely. Okay. Is that it? Is that it? I think that's it. All right. Recap. Everything I showed you now is not available yet. That's okay. It's all right. The Canyon scarf though is coming in less than a week. Oh, it's Friday. Yeah, it's going to be published next Wednesday. So most likely, if you're not watching this podcast, and I'm not even going to upload this today because I got other stuff to do. So the Canyon scarf most likely is out and the pattern's posted. Like I said, and the Hue and Me, super fun. This yarn is, I love this yarn. I highly recommend trying it if you haven't. And also it's really easy. Like you can even get this on Amazon. I think they sell 3 packs. Lion Brand has a Amazon profile. So like, it's really easy. Even like if your local craft store doesn't carry it, you can get it on Amazon. Problem solved. Gotta love Amazon. And all right, so these, and also I think maybe I'm gonna attempt a worsted weight. So we'll see how it goes. And I have yet to find out what worsted I want to use, but I have some Ba Yarn Shasta coming, and that's their worsted, and I'm gonna give that one a test run and see if that would work too. So yeah, but we'll see. And if the worsted weight does not work out, it'll be written for super bulky and bulky. Cool. All right, guys, I hope you have. I'm gonna try to work out. Hope I don't get rained on. I think it's just gloomy. I'm gonna check the forecast, but I don't think it's actually gonna rain. It just looks like it, but I'm gonna try to bike for a little bit. And side note too, and okay, I'm back to the AirPods. Sorry, I'm probably here. Last episode, I bought a microphone thing that clipped onto my shirt, and I want to apologize for like the sound quality. It was not successful. Like, I'm sorry, it sounded. I still am not like 100% loving these, but that clip-on microphone was no good. So I'm sorry, I was wearing a necklace. I watched the episode again, and every time like my necklace would touch it, it was like, or like, you know, I'm showing you my shawl and I bump it. Like, that's not good. Also, I shouldn't have anything on me because I talk with my hands. You might have noticed. But like, I move a lot. I kept bumping it. So sorry about the the sound quality in the previous episode. It was no good. But hopefully today you can hear me a little bit better. And like I said, it's not perfect, but I'm still on the quest to find like a good. Really, if you're watching this, if you know, be like, Erin, this is what you need. Like, please tell me. Be like, you need this microphone or something. Like, I will buy it. I just don't know what to buy. Like, this is not my expertise. Like, making videos and like proper sound equipment. So it's all learning for me. Like, I knit and write patterns. Like, this is not. Yeah, this is what I'm good at. So any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. All right, guys, friends, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope it isn't like a million degrees where you are. And keep, watching my Instagram or something, because I update all of my pattern progress or releases or, all that good stuff. That's probably like the most accurate, like to date on what I'm working on. All right, thanks so much for watching. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.